Hello, welcome back and welcome in. My name is NickyWheeler. If you're interested in gaming, go subscribe to my other channel and follow my Twitch to see my gaming live. Now, let's start this video. Today, I will be discussing the queen of rap, Nicki Minaj. She's now released her 5th studio album, Pink Friday 2, and I felt it necessary to talk about her career, and what I loved most about her music over the years. So we start off with her debut record, Pink Friday. This album was one of the biggest albums of 2010 because it revived female rap and made Nicki a household name. Her ability to craft crossovers between pop and rap was key to the album's success. With 8 singles released, Pink Friday set a high bar for mainstream rap stars to follow. While Pink Friday is loaded with hits, 2 singles officially sent Minaj into the pop stratosphere. The Drake-assisted Moment for Life, which became an inspirational anthem, and Minaj's true crossover hit Super Bass, which became her first top 10 entry as a lead artist and the highest charting solo record by a female artist since Missy Elliott's Work It in 2002. Fusing rapid-fire rhymes with bubblegum pop and coupled with the candy-colored visuals, Super Bass still sounds light years ahead of its time. Then you have a track like Did It On 'Em, where a lot of her lyrics are directed toward those who have doubted her as an artist, a lyricist, and as an individual. She isn't afraid to say what others are afraid to say. I think this song showed a lot of her carefree attitude and how she literally just does not care what people say. She stepped above everyone around her, and gracefully at that. I think with this album, Nicki was allowed to open herself up to experimentation because the rap game for women at this time was kind of slow, so when she did her pop rap mixture, it worked well, especially with songs like Fly or Super Bass. Pink Friday was and still is an ambitious, glossy stunner if Fashion Week was your favorite time of year. Without question, Minaj's debut was more pop-driven than her original fans had expected, but it was an immense accomplishment, setting a course that led to the MC becoming a cultural phenomenon. On Pink Friday, she proved that her music was not just for the streets of Queens or the mixtape aficionados. It was for the world. Minaj didn't earn her rap diva status this way, though. I would argue her 3rd album is what really gave her that push to have the Queen of Rap title. But before that, we get into her 2nd album, Pink Friday Roman Reloaded. In her mixtapes, she showcased her rawness, skill, and screwball inventiveness, which fans long for in a full album. They also feel like the industry only wants Minaj's pop incarnation, posing and ensuing over the same club-ready beats everyone else uses. Nicki was aware of this divided fan base. Every time she released a single such as the juggernaut Starships, which was a precision-tooled track for the modern pop environment, she seems to judiciously leak a song such as the LP highlight Bees in the Trap, which was a lunar landscape of bass pulses and sonar blips that Minaj plays relatively straight, throwing a bone to those listeners who just want to hear her rap. The first half dozen tracks on Roman Reloaded are what the long-term fans have been waiting for. Nicki has said she has wanted the album to be more about spitting than pop, and at first she kept that promise gloriously. The themes don't vary much, like Minaj is very successful and her rivals not so, but everyone else bounces with invention. Minaj in Full Cry isn't about wordplay but voice play on this album. In just the first track, you get her growling as Roman Zelensky, her endearing but god-awful English alter ego, a stab at him singing in a vocal tone that lurches from slapstick to terrifying across a single word. On I Am Your Leader, she drops a couple of octaves to gleefully pompous effect. Her vocal shifts are used for punchlines, internal commentary, and just the joy of doing funny shit with your voice. Is it gracious? Of course, Minaj's stardom is half about conspicuous waste, being able to throw away these ideas others might mine for half a short career. And when she chooses to be direct, it's all the more thrilling. The full-on pop songs aren't the problem here, though. It's the gentler tracks that bring the record's energy down. Songs such as Fire Burns or Sex in the Lounge, in which nobody sounds too engaged. There are some gems though, like the woozy production of Champion and the triumphant Gunshot, which basically invented the ragga power ballad. You can see Pink Friday Roman Reloaded as a great rap album dragged down by some pandering, but you could equally see it as a triumph that one of the biggest pop records of the year leads off with half a dozen tracks of blistering and idea-jammed hip-hop. The record, at its best, is horribly inconsistent and makes no real attempt to marry its rap and pop impulses. But that doesn't matter because the styles are wedded anyway by a particular frenzy and a sense that Minaj comes with no off switch or lower gear. As long as she doesn't slow down, she's the best pop rap star we have ever had in this era. Now, for one of Nicki's most famous albums, the third studio album, The Pink Print, Nicki Minaj is so routinely trashed in comment sections that it's worth acknowledging just how extraordinary she is. She's an absolute beast of a rapper and can craft pop hits in a way that seem effortless. These are talents only a handful of Earthlings possess. The Pink Print delivers on its promise with Want Some More, When Again, and Feel Myself, which all feature genuine spitting. They're self-affirming tracks that taunt her opponents in the classic hip-hop tradition of over-compelling and exotic beats. The opening track, All Things Go, is Nicki at her most vulnerable, leaving everything on the table to get ready for this fight. 6 songs later, she has dispelled rumors of sleeping with Drake and Lil Wayne, to then rap angrily about breakups and then sung with the sensational Ariana Grande about making their sexual partners beg for it. Then there's a handful of radio-friendly songs which hip-hop fans will shrug off. And then there's a third section of this album. Songs like All Things Go and Grand Piano, which are genuinely moving, emotionally wrenching ballads. Turns out, Minaj can do a credible Elton John thing too. Yet another impressive skill to add to the book. The Pink Print's simple yet witty flow opens the door for people who want to soak up the empowering lyrics Minaj has made her name with. The motherhood theme runs through her catalog, and while it usually is a reference to her influence on other rappers, on the Pink Print it is a warning that you're in Nicki Minaj's world and you aren't getting out, even with a fight. This is because she is more than established in the rap game, as she reminds you every time a male is allowed on one of her tracks. Since her 2010 full-length debut, Pink Friday, we've seen Minaj's flash of brilliance, lacerating guest verses, the armor of theatrical Technicolor outfits, and her breakneck speed flow among them. Whatever you may think of her wig collection, she has an undeniable skill as a rapper. The music sweeps from trap-like Shanghai to completely sung slow jam Grand Piano, leaning towards a bass-heavy production throughout. Inevitably, the men who dominate the internet discourse will complain about the Pink Print, even though everyone else will buy it. Now, I'll move into her 4th studio album released in 2018, Queen. The album is powered by more focused than usual melodies, which showcase the influence of Trinidadian and Jamaican reggae. The infectious sample and her trademark mix of foul-mouthed rap attacks and sonorous but equally ribald vocals. There's less cork than quake to the production, which has an oddly direct and elevated uniformity of tone. Tensions have been heightened around Queen due to the rise of Cardi B, the first commercially dominant female rapper since Minaj broke out a decade ago at this point. And it is sexist to assume that the two women in hip-hop will need to be rivals, and Minaj actually did cheer when Cardi became the first female MC to earn a solo #1 since 1998. But relations appeared to curdle when Minaj in April publicly complaining about Cardi's supposed ingratitude, as she returned to a rap landscape that shifted in the 4 years since her previous album. Minaj has been particularly fixated on claims about the brain. Premiering Queen on Apple's streaming radio stations, she said it used to be that it felt like you had to be smart to rap, and now it's a little bit different. These aren't uncommon opinions, but it's significant for Minaj to position herself as a high-minded genre saver given the prejudices she has faced. As an immigrant whose brand is built on funny voices, crass rhymes, and curves, she often is a target for snobs, racists, and/or sexist who say she's responsible for the de-intellectualizing of rap, or else she just gets treated as simple. On the moody Majesty, Minaj uses a menacing voice in her display of money and power, while guest singer Labyrinth breathily introduces her highness during the chorus. Nicki raps with a creepily weird, childlike coda, slowed for a chilling effect. The only track more barbed is Barbie Dreams, a hilarious rap attack modeled after the Notorious B.I.G.'s Just Playing Dreams, which was a rip on popular female R&B singers of his day, it's the men of hip-hop who are getting the playful beatdown. Queen's most talked about track is a vicious rundown of very famous men whose sexual advances she had rejected. Almost no one is exempt from the emasculating glare of Barbie dreams, not even her former collaborators like Young Thug and Drake. And while there are cameos from Eminem, The Weeknd, Ariana Grande, Future, and Foxy Brown, Minaj is always the focus, working at the top of her game through exquisite space soul ballads such as Come See About Me or ominously melodic hip-hop tracks like the pillow-talking Rich Sex. Yet there is little preparation for the righteous and surprisingly conventional Come See About Me, which was a soft, sculpted ballad that allowed Minaj's rap singing romanticism to nestle in a richly opulent setting. It's a rare moment of tenderness from an artist who, with Queen, is doubling down on both her toughness and her regal status. Finally, what we all came here for, the fifth album, Pink Friday 2, a supposed sequel to her iconic 2010 debut. This was an up-and-down collection that showcases spurts of impressive rapping, some baffling melodies, and production that runs all the way from innovative to afterthought. But what's most striking is that Minaj more or less is, as she always has been, a star navigating hip-hop on sometimes untested terms. One of the best songs on here is The Shortest, which was Beep Beep. It was a twinkling beat and a lyrical snarl. It is a prototypical modern pop rock album, heavily, perhaps overly, reliant on big tent samples that spark immediate familiarity. That including some of my favorites like Red Ruby Da Sleaze. In the last couple of years, instantly recognizable references have become cheat codes for pop and rap stars, but obvious sampling has been a staple in the emergent drill and club music scenes. Understanding the genre as an identity playground has always been one of Minaj's strengths, and often she showed off new versions of herself when collaborating. But the team-ups here with Drake and Future are quite surprisingly listless. There's also a streak of intense sentimentality on this album. She raps softly and distantly on Are You Gone Already, followed by Let Me Calm Down, which was a duet with J. Cole about a troubled relationship. And Last Time I Saw You was about the death of her father in 2021. Songs like these tend to mark someone in a transition towards reflection and maturity. The old Nicki still feels more present, and in the 5 years since her last solo album, the scale of the playing field claimed by female rappers has grown exponentially because TikTok has created a cornucopia of rising stars with breakout hits. Even as Minaj has receded from the center of the genre, her lessons still remain. She sometimes spars with Cardi B, but the two have so much in common. Ice Spice, who channeled Minaj's cartoon-esque visual exaggeration, is on an arena tour with Doja Cat, who feels like Minaj's clear inheritor with her recent album. They're not doing a Minaj cosplay, but she's in them all. Overall, I think Nicki definitely played it safe on this album and used the Pink Friday name to draw attention from the OG fans. None of the album really suited the Pink Friday title, and most callbacks in the album were short-lived. It was an extremely long record, and the best songs on here were the shortest. The moments of harshest flow seem few and far between, which isn't necessarily a horrible thing in the grand scheme, but it just isn't what most people wanted from her, especially after a 5-year-long gap, and that included delays and pushbacks. And I am in no way saying I want diss tracks like she has done over the years, because she's a 41-year-old woman, and disses are just kind of out of style right now, at least to me. What I think the rap game needs is just easy flowing rhymes that can be harsh and cutthroat, but more about the world and things around them or stuff happening to them in their life. This album is a snapshot, and a telling one. I think it can serve as a reminder that there is no one way to be a woman in rap now, and that teamwork is preferable to the turf war. These artists are aware of history, but not indebted to it. If I had to choose a song from each album, I would say my favorites in album order were Did It On 'Em, Bees in the Trap, Only, Barbie Dreams, and Red Ruby Da Sleaze. Now, I wanted to move into rankings, and this will be on a best to worst scale, taking lyrics, music composition, and delivery into account. I promise you guys will not like this one though. At number 1, I have Pink Friday. Number 2 is Queen. Number 3 is The Pink Print, number 4 is Roman Reloaded, and number 5 is Pink Friday 2. This is probably one of the hardest rankings I've ever done on my channel, and I had to rank Alec Benjamin and Marina before. I think Nicki as an artist is completely unmatched when it comes to her flow and lyric quality, and even after 5 years her skills have not dulled whatsoever. She is known for her extravagant personality, fearless attitude, musical versatility, animated rap flow, alter egos, and influence in the rap and pop industries alike. She frequently uses her music to express her thoughts on different aspects of life, including power and success, which is one of the main reasons people enjoy her music. Many of the songs on Pink Friday 2 are incredible, but some were letdowns. Over her 16-year-long career, she has yet to be throned as the queen of rap, and even with a quote-unquote flop album like Pink Friday 2, I don't think that time will come anytime soon. Hopefully this return will bring us more of what Nicki strives to be, and that is great. She has had a wonderful year in 2023 with multiple hits like Super Freaky Girl and Barbie World, and I hope this stride continues throughout the years to come for her. And with that, I think I will leave the video there. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more content like this, and comment down below for who I should cover next. Until next time, bye guys.